Hello friends, I am Nilakshi Arora, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. Today, we'll understand the concept of valuation of shares. If you remember, in the last video, I discussed about the formulas and methods of valuation of goodwill. So in this module, we are going to discuss about valuation of shares. First, we need to understand why actually do we need valuation of shares? Why? What is the need? So, if you look at the balance sheet of a company, you'll find out that the face value of a share is different, the book value of a share is different, and the market value of a share is different. Like Reliance is having a face value of rupees 10, but if you want to buy the share of Reliance, it would be dealing between a price range of 1500 to 2000. So from where do we actually get these prices? So that is what is our task. Today we are going to understand about the methods of valuation of shares. First, let us understand some terminologies like what is par value of a share or what is face value of a share. So face value of a share simply means the value which is mentioned in the memorandum of the company. Second, we have book value of a share. What is book value of a share? So book value of a share means the book value of real assets minus the amount of external liabilities divided by the number of shares. We get the book value. Now market value. What do you mean by market value? If you go to the market and buy a share, at what price can you buy that share? That is the market value of the shares. Moving further, if we talk about listed companies like Reliance, Tata, their shares market value we can get in the stock exchange. But when we talk about unlisted public companies or private limited companies, we don't know their value of share. We just know their book values or we know their face value. But we need to calculate the market value of those shares also. So that's why it is very necessary for us to understand the valuation of shares. Moving further, now we'll understand in detail about the necessity of valuation of shares. Why do we need it? So we need it basically when companies go for amalgamation, when one company absorbs another company, or when government takes the companies and want to pay compensation to the shareholders, or when the shares are not listed in the stock exchange and any investor wants to know the value of the share. In that case also we will require the valuation of shares. Further, now we'll discuss the factors affecting the valuation of shares. What factors do affect the value of shares? First can be nature of business. Like if I have a business which is strong, like pharmaceutical companies, they have a strong business, so their value of share would be more. Second can be the earning capacity of a business. What do business earn? What is their earning capacity? Next can be the dividend declared by those companies. If a company is paying high dividend, they are likely to have high market value. Another factor can be net tangible assets. What tangible assets the company is having. If a company has a strong fixed assets or strong tangible assets, that can be a factor which would increase the price of the share. Another thing can be the capital structure of the company. Like if you have high debt, high debentures or debt, high loans, you have to pay higher interest, so the shareholders are going to get less profits. So this can be the another factor which affects the valuation of shares. If a company has good market value and we say it as goodwill, if the company has good goodwill in the market, it is going to affect the value of share. Next can be the investments made by the company. If a company has strong background of investments, like it has invested in some sound business proposals, that will affect the valuation of the company. Another reason can be the directors of the company. If you have got strong management for the company, that is again going to affect the valuation of shares. So these are the factors which actually affect the valuation of shares. Now we'll discuss about methods of valuation of goodwill. First method is net asset method, second one is yield or income valuation method, third method is fair value method. Let's first discuss about net asset method. Net asset method have 4 steps. Step number 1 is first you find out the realizable value of all the real assets. Meaning we take all the tangible assets, we take all the intangible assets, but at their market value and not at their book value. Meaning by, if you have land and building, for example, and you want to sell it in the market, so at the price at which that asset can be sold, we take that value. So we take all the assets, tangible and intangible, at their market value. If in the question some fictitious assets like preliminary expenditure, discount on issue of debentures, such assets are given, we don't consider them because they are not your real expenses. This is your step number 1. Second, in step number 2, we find out the external liabilities of the company. External liabilities means borrowings, loans, debentures, all the current liabilities payable. In step number 3, what you are going to do? Step 1 minus step 2. Your step 1 was realizable assets, step 2 was external liabilities. So you are going to subtract realizable assets and external liabilities, and you will get a figure which will be called as net assets. Now what is the meaning of this net assets? This net assets means that this amount is available to all the equity shareholders of the company, whatever amount you get. In step 4, you need to find out value of one share. So how you are going to do? Step 3 divided by number of shares. So net assets divided by number of shares. What you are going to get? You will get value of one share. Now this net asset method is also called as capital valuation method or intrinsic value method. So people name it differently. This method has got lot of difficulties, but like sometimes it's very difficult for a user to find out the actual market value of the tangible and intangible assets. You cannot find out the exact market value. Then valuation of liabilities becomes difficult at times. Then at times company has fully paid up shares and partly paid up shares. So how will you give a value of one share for partly paid up shares and fully paid up shares? So that's why this method has got lot of difficulties. Moving further, now next method is yield or income method. In yield and income method, we have got two sub methods, one on the basis of rate of dividend and one on the basis of income earning. First we'll talk about on the basis of rate of dividend. This method is based on the dividend earned on a share. Whatever dividend you are going to earn on share, based on that earnings you are going to calculate the value of a share. What is the formula? So formula is value of a share under rate of dividend method is rate of dividend into paid up value of one share divided by normal rate of return, where rate of dividend we all know is amount of dividend into 100 divided by paid up share capital. Next thing in the formula was normal rate of return. Now what do you mean by normal rate of return? Normal rate of return is the rate at which particular class of companies expect to earn return on the funds invested by them. That is normal rate of return. Now this method is more realistic and simple and logical as compared to the previous one that we discussed, net assets method, because it's based on the dividend, about what you are earning. But this is also the biggest drawback, that if the company is not paying regular dividend, it is keeping the funds aside in its reserves. So the value of share which you are going to get using this method would be less. So the biggest drawback of this method is that it is based on expected rate of return. At times if the company does not pay dividend but create reserve, this may lead to misleading value of a share. Second method under income method is on the basis of rate of earning. Under this method we use two things, earned income and capital employed, for calculating the value of share. Now what is the value of share under this method? Rate of earned income into paid up value of one share divided by normal rate of return. Normal rate of return we have already discussed that in the previous method. So now we will discuss rate of earned income. Rate of earned income is earned income into 100 divided by capital employed. Now we will discuss earned income. What do you mean by earned income? In simple words, if I say earned income, it's all the funds that is available to equity shareholders, the profit available to equity shareholders. Technically, if we have to calculate how it would be, profit after tax, then we deduct preference shareholders dividend, then we deduct all the amounts transferred to the reserves. The remaining thing we get is the earned income. Next is capital employed in the formula. So capital employed is actually the balance of all the real assets minus all the external liabilities. Now this method is actually useful when someone is interested to buy the majority of the shares of a company in order to have controlling interest. Then this method is very useful. Next method is fair value method. Fair value method formula is internal value of a share plus market value of a share divided by 2. Internal value of a share we get using net assets method, and market value of a share we get using income valuation method. So this method formula is simply method 1 plus method 2 divided by the 2. Now why you use this method? So this method is actually useful when people are interested both in the yield and safety. So when at the time of purchase of the shares of a company, the purchaser wants to consider the income as well as wants to consider the investments of the company, he uses fair value method. Now you should remember one thing, that you can only find fair value of a share when you have the market value with you and you also have the net asset value per share, then only you can use this formula. In this module, children, we understood about methods of valuation of shares, why do you need valuation of shares, and what is the necessity of valuation of shares. In the upcoming methods, we will be using these formulas for solving the questions. Hope it was a fruitful session for you all. Thank you.